Level 1. The Disappointment. Gylfi Sigurdsson. Let's start with a painful truth about the modern number 10. Everton paid up to £45 million in 2017 for Iceland's creative genius, the man who terrorised defences at Swansea and Tottenham. 3 years later, he was a passenger. At Swansea, Sigurdsson was the system. Free kicks, set pieces, the final ball, everything flowed through him. He had the technical quality to unlock any defence. Then Everton bought him and asked him to do the same thing in a dysfunctional squad with no clear tactical structure. It never clicked. The problem wasn't talent, it was application. His defensive work rate was non-existent. His pressing metrics were embarrassing. In a league demanding physical intensity and tactical flexibility, Sigurdsson offered neither. He'd drift through matches, waiting for moments that never came. By 2021, his career effectively ended in disgrace. From £45 million investment to complete write-off. That's the risk profile of a luxury player who can't adapt. Emile Smith-Rowe. This one hurts because the talent is obvious. At Arsenal, when fit, he showed glimpses of something special. Clever movement, intelligent passing, an eye for goal. You could see it. The problem? He's never fit. Persistent injuries have undermined any chance of building consistency. His injury record has derailed what should have been a breakthrough period. Arsenal moved on. Fulham paid up to £34 million, hoping the injuries were bad luck rather than a chronic physical limitation. The jury's still out. But at 24, with his development window narrowing, time is running out. Ross Barkley. England's next big thing. The heir to Lampard and Gerrard. At 20, he looked like a generational talent, driving runs, spectacular goals, the physique to dominate midfield. Then, nothing happened. At Everton, he'd produce one moment of brilliance, followed by 5 games of anonymity. Chelsea paid £15 million in 2018, convinced they could unlock his potential. They couldn't. Loan spells at Aston Villa and Nice brought brief flickers but no consistency. To his credit, he actually delivered during Luton's Premier League season in 2024, a rare bright spot. But by then, the trajectory from future England captain to championship midfielder was already written. All the physical attributes were there. The mental consistency and tactical discipline never followed. Level 1 isn't about bad players. It's about players who had the opportunity and couldn't deliver. Wrong mentality, wrong physical profile, wrong timing. The number 10 position demands excellence. These players, for different reasons, couldn't provide it. Level 2. The functional 10. Oscar. Chelsea's Brazilian who chose financial security over legacy. From 2012 to 2017, he was genuinely useful. Hard-working, technically sound, capable of spectacular goals. Functional in Mourinho's system, but not elite. Then Shanghai SIPG offered £60 million, and Oscar moved to China at 25. Prime years sacrificed for a paycheck. His Chelsea numbers were respectable. 38 goals in 203 appearances. But respectable isn't memorable. Shinji Kagawa. The most frustrating entry on this list. At Borussia Dortmund under Klopp, Kagawa was genuinely elite. 13 goals and 8 assists during their 2011-12 double-winning season. He had everything: technical quality, spatial awareness, the intelligence to find pockets between the lines. Then, Manchester United paid £12 million and destroyed him. Played out of position, mismanaged by Moyes. His confidence collapsed. United career: 6 goals in 38 league appearances. He returned to Dortmund, but the spark was gone. 2 brilliant seasons, followed by a decade of decline. That's level 2. The talent existed, the consistency didn't. Morgan Gibbs-White. Nottingham Forest's 42 million heartbeat. Direct running, aggressive pressing, goals from midfield. He's become one of the Premier League's most tenacious attacking players. But is he actually a creative playmaker? His assist numbers are modest. His chance creation is average. He's more of a box-to-box midfielder wearing a 10's shirt than a genuine playmaker. His best work comes from ball recovery and driving runs, not threading passes through defensive lines. At Forest, he's essential. At a Champions League club, probably a rotation option. Giovanni Lo Celso. Remember when Spurs thought they'd found their Eriksen replacement? At Betis in 2018-19, Lo Celso was sensational. 16 goals in 46 appearances as an attacking midfielder. The kind of output that justifies a £55 million valuation. He combined technical elegance with genuine goal threat, gliding past challenges and finishing with composure. Then he moved to Spurs and promptly disappeared. Injuries, poor form, wrong system. The Betis version was excellent. The Spurs version was a ghost. Level 3. The inconsistent great one. Mario Götze, World Cup final goalscorer, Germany's golden boy, the man who ended Messi's dream in 2014. And yet, here he is at level 3. Götze's career is a case study in what happens when potential meets physical limitation. At Dortmund under Klopp, he was spectacular, quick, intelligent, technically brilliant. Bayern Munich paid his €37 million release clause, expecting a future Ballon d'Or winner. Instead, they got a player battling a metabolic disorder that would only be diagnosed years later. Myopathy, a muscle condition that causes fatigue and weight gain. For years, critics called him lazy, unfit, uncommitted. Turns out his body was working against him the whole time. His Bayern career was a disappointment. His Dortmund return, okay. He's rebuilt himself at Eintracht Frankfurt as a deeper midfielder, but the number 10 who lit up the 2014 World Cup, that player vanished years ago. Sometimes biology decides your ceiling. Isco, 4 Champions League winners' medals, though he was a genuine contributor in maybe 2 or 3 of them. Numerous major trophies at Real Madrid, and somehow he was never a guaranteed starter. That's the Isco paradox. The talent was outrageous, close control that made defenders look foolish, creativity that could unlock any defense, technique that belonged in a highlights reel. But talent without reliability is just entertainment. At Madrid, he'd produce a masterclass one week, then disappear for a month. Managers loved his ability, then benched him for players who offered more consistency. His numbers, 53 goals in 353 appearances over 9 years, tell the story. Good enough to stay, not indispensable enough to start regularly. By 2022, he was on the bench for the Champions League final in Paris, a passenger collecting another medal. His Real Betis renaissance has been impressive. Captain, creative heartbeat, leading them to a Conference League final. But it came too late to change the overall verdict. Tomáš Rosický. Before Arsenal, there was Dortmund. Rosický arrived in 2001 as the most expensive signing in Bundesliga history. A record transfer fee for a 20-year-old Czech who'd been lighting up the Champions League with Sparta Prague. In his first full season, he won the Bundesliga title and reached the UEFA Cup final. The nickname Little Mozart came from his ability to orchestrate play. Not blessed with pace, but the way he glided across the pitch with the ball made it look like he was lightning fast. Then Arsenal, and then the injuries. When healthy, he was a joy. Quick passing, intelligent movement, grace between the lines. The problem? When healthy applied to maybe 40% of his career. His talent was level 5. His availability kept him at level 3. Sometimes the body just says no. Pablo Aimar, Messi's idol. That speaks volumes about his pure ability. Maradona called him the only player he'd pay to watch. At River Plate, Valencia and Benfica, Aimar was a genuine 10. Creative, technical, capable of deciding matches with a single pass or dribble. He had everything in his locker: vision, flamboyant dribbling skills, the ability to beat defenders and create something from nothing. But his peak was short, his consistency limited. Injuries plagued him from his mid-20s onwards, and the magic became harder to find. Remembered fondly, not reverentially. That's level 3. Dele Alli. At his peak, this ranking would be criminal. From 2016 to 2018, Dele was a phenomenon. 18 goals and 7 assists in 2016-17. Back-to-back PFA Young Player of the Year awards, performances that had Europe's elite circling. At one point, he'd scored 8 goals in 6 league games, including consecutive braces against Southampton, Watford, and Chelsea. Before turning 21, he had more Premier League goal involvements than Lampard, Gerrard, and Beckham combined at the same age. The comparisons weren't crazy. This was a player who looked destined for the absolute elite. Then the collapse began. The goals dried up. The movement became predictable. The edge disappeared. The decline is almost unprecedented for a player of his early promise. What happened? Personal problems, lifestyle issues, manager changes. His body and mind stopped cooperating. At his peak, Dele was level 5, maybe higher. Rafael van der Vaart, the elegant Dutchman who made everything look easy. At Ajax, Hamburg, and Tottenham, van der Vaart was the classic number 10, creative and capable of spectacular goals. His problem was durability and application. Hamstring injuries plagued his career. He'd string together excellent performances, break down, and spend months recovering. At his best, he was a joy to watch. His best just didn't happen often enough. Level 4. The top flight quality. Kevin De Bruyne. Wait, Kevin De Bruyne at level 4? Hear me out. As an 8, operating from deep with license to drive forward, De Bruyne is level 7, no debate. But as a pure number 10, his best football has never come in that role. At Wolfsburg in 2014-15, playing centrally behind the striker, he was sensational. 10 goals and 21 assists, the latter a Bundesliga record. But at City, Guardiola gradually moved him deeper into a midfield 3, recognizing that his vision, range of passing, and ability to drive through lines added more value from a deeper starting position. His creativity suggests he'd dominate as a pure 10. But the evidence is limited, and this list rewards what players actually did in the role, not what they could have done. De Bruyne as a 10 is great. De Bruyne as an 8 is generational. That distinction matters for this list. Christian Eriksen, Tottenham's metronome for 6 seasons. From 2013 to 2020, Eriksen was the definition of reliable quality. 69 goals and 89 assists in 305 appearances across all competitions. In 2016-17, he set a Spurs club record for Premier League assists in a season with 15 league assists. He became just the second player after David Beckham to record 10+ assists in 4 consecutive Premier League seasons. Set pieces, through balls, late runs into the box. Everything a number 10 should do, week after week. Like De Bruyne, Eriksen's role evolved over time. At Spurs, he was the classic 10, floating behind the striker, finding pockets of space. At Inter and Manchester United, he dropped deeper, dictating tempo as a central midfielder rather than playing the final ball. For Denmark, he remains the creative heartbeat, still deployed in that free role behind the forwards. Tactically versatile, never locked to one position. He never dragged Spurs somewhere they shouldn't have been. Excellent, but not transcendent. The cardiac arrest and miraculous recovery changed everything. Just being back on a pitch was remarkable. Level 4 represents sustained quality without sustained dominance. James Rodriguez. The 2014 World Cup's Golden Boot winner. That volley against Uruguay. Colombia's golden generation crystallized in one player. For 18 months, James was a global superstar, Monaco's creative force, then Real Madrid's €80 million statement signing. His first season at the Bernabeu was excellent, 17 goals and 18 assists across all competitions. Then Zidane arrived as manager, and James became expendable. His loan spell at Bayern is often labeled inconsistent, but the underlying numbers tell a different story. A goal or assist every 122 minutes is elite output by any measure. The problem was never production, it was opportunity. A brief Everton renaissance followed, then a slow fade into obscurity. His peak was level 6 territory. But sustained excellence requires more than flashes. The longevity wasn't there. Santi Cazorla, Arsenal's most technically gifted midfielder of the Emirates era. 2 good feet, perfect weight of pass, the ability to glide past defenders in tight spaces. Ankle injuries nearly ended his career at 32. He made a remarkable comeback at Villarreal, but his prime years were stolen by the treatment room. When fit, a magician. Just wasn't fit enough to reach his ceiling.
Level 5. The Elite. Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United's most important signing of the post-Ferguson era. Since arriving in January 2020, Fernandes has been a one-man attacking system. Penalties, free kicks, through balls, strikes from distance. His output is ridiculous. The fastest player in Premier League history to reach 5 goals and 5 assists, doing it in just 9 games. In 2020-21, he broke Frank Lampard's record for most goals in a season by a Premier League midfielder. He's now approaching 100 goals for the club, with more than 50 league assists, level with Eric Cantona. The criticism is fair. He shoots too much. His body language can be theatrical, and his form fluctuates wildly. But the production doesn't lie. In a struggling United side, Fernandes has been the only consistent creative threat. The question keeping him at level 5? He's never done it in the Champions League's latter stages. Never dragged United to a major trophy through sheer will. Individual brilliance without collective success keeps him from the highest tier. Maybe that will change. Juan Román Riquelme, the purest enganche in modern football. At Villarreal and Boca Juniors, Riquelme played the position like it was an art form, controlling tempo, threading impossible passes, refusing to conform to modern demands for pressing and defensive work. He was an anachronism in real time, too slow to press, too stubborn to adapt. But with the ball at his feet, he was a conductor. Barcelona didn't know how to use him. Europe eventually gave up trying. But in South America, he was a god. 3 Copa Libertadores titles, an Intercontinental Cup, 4-time Argentine Footballer of the Year. That combination of genius and limitation is level 5. Juan Mata. Before Chelsea, there was Valencia. In 4 seasons alongside David Villa and David Silva, Mata racked up 46 goals and 52 assists in 174 appearances, including a Copa del Rey winners' medal in his debut season, scoring in the final. In 2008-09, only Xavi created more in La Liga. Then came Chelsea, where his first season delivered a cup double. FA Cup final man of the match against Liverpool. 2 weeks later, his corner found Drogba's head in the 88th minute of the Champions League final against Bayern Munich. 2 consecutive Chelsea Player of the Year awards followed. The assists king of the Premier League in 2012-13. His numbers at Chelsea were brilliant. 33 goals and 58 assists in 135 appearances. He made football look simple. A touch, a turn, a perfectly weighted pass. Then Mourinho arrived and decided Mata didn't fit his tactical approach. The Manchester United years were a slow decline. Useful, but never essential. His Chelsea and Valencia peak was undeniable. Level 5 is where those years of genuine excellence live. Dennis Bergkamp, Arsenal's Iceman, the man who made Thierry Henry better. Bergkamp started his career as a pure striker. 103 goals in 185 games at Ajax. But under Wenger, he evolved into something different. Once Henry arrived in 1999, Bergkamp dropped deeper, becoming the shadow striker who orchestrated everything in the final third. That touch against Newcastle, the turn against Argentina. These moments didn't happen in the box. They happened in the spaces between midfield and attack, where Bergkamp redefined what technical quality meant in English football. Over 11 seasons at Arsenal, he scored 120 goals and fundamentally changed how the Premier League viewed foreign playmakers. Francesco Totti, Roma's eternal captain. 25 years at one club.
307 goals. Loyalty personified. Like Bergkamp, Totti started as a striker and evolved. In his 20s, he was a second striker with a killer instinct. By his 30s, he dropped into a deeper playmaking role, maintaining elite production through intelligence rather than athleticism. The position changed, but the quality remained. His technical ability was absurd. His commitment, turning down Real Madrid, Inter, everyone, legendary. Why not level 6? He never won the Champions League. Roma's domestic success was limited. Level 5 is recognition of sustained excellence without ultimate triumph.
Wesley Sneijder. Here's where it gets interesting. Unlike Totti, who gave everything to one club but never won the Champions League, Sneijder won it all, just not for very long. In 2010, you could argue he was the best number 10 on the planet. Inter's treble winner, UEFA's best midfielder, World Cup silver ball, fourth in the Ballon d'Or voting, and many argued he deserved to win it. That season was transcendent. He scored in the Champions League semi-final against Barcelona. He delivered in the biggest moments. He made Inter's historic achievement possible. But one season doesn't make a career. His first year at Real Madrid was actually excellent. 9 goals, a La Liga title, the number 10 shirt after Robinho left. Then the second season fell apart. Injury, loss of form, sold for almost half what they paid. After 2010, injuries and contract disputes derailed his Inter career. Galatasaray was a step down. The excellence wasn't sustained. Sneijder's trophy cabinet is elite. La Liga, Serie A, Champions League, Coppa Italia, World Cup finalist. His peak was level 7. But his career, measured across 15 years, is level 5. That gap between peak and consistency is the cruelest truth in football. Level 6. The world class. Mesut Ozil. Before Real Madrid made him famous, Ozil was already special. At Werder Bremen, he scored the winning goal in the 2009 DFB Pokal final at age 20, then produced 29 assists and 10 goals across all competitions the following season. Germany's U21 coach called him our own Messi. Then came Real Madrid. For 3 seasons, Ozil redefined what a number 10 could provide. He led La Liga in assists for 3 consecutive seasons. In 159 appearances, he was the creative engine behind the club's 100-point title-winning season in 2011-2012. Cristiano Ronaldo's goal-scoring peak coincided exactly with Ozil's creative peak. That wasn't coincidence. For Germany, he was equally decisive. 92 caps, 23 goals, 40 assists. Top assist provider at both the 2010 World Cup and Euro 2012. A World Cup winner in 2014. 5-time German Player of the Year, a record. At Arsenal, he remained elite. 19 assists in 2015-16, one short of Henry's record. But the criticism mounted. Didn't track back, disappeared in big games. Body language of a man who'd rather be elsewhere. His decline was slow, then rapid. By 2020, he was frozen out entirely. Peak Ozil was level 7 territory. The Arsenal fade brings him to level 6. Still world class, just not for long enough. David Silva, Manchester City's greatest midfielder. Before the Premier League knew him, Silva had already won a Copa del Rey with Valencia and back-to-back European Championships with Spain. He arrived at City in 2010 as a World Cup winner, part of the legendary midfield trio alongside Xavi and Iniesta that dominated international football. For a decade, he made City's system function. 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, a record. More than 400 appearances. The most assists in the Premier League across the 2010s. He didn't have Ozil's highlights. He wasn't flashy. He just controlled matches. His close control in tight spaces was unparalleled.
His ability to receive under pressure and find the progressive pass made everything around him better. Under Guardiola, who called him one of the best I've ever trained, and cited Silva as a reason he joined City, he evolved from a classic 10 to a deeper role alongside De Bruyne. The tactical intelligence adapted to any demand. For Spain, 125 caps, 35 goals, 29 assists. Fifth highest scorer and second highest assist provider in their history. He scored the opening goal in the Euro 2012 final demolition of Italy. 3 consecutive major tournament wins. Longevity plus excellence plus international pedigree equals level 6. Kaká, the last traditional number 10 to win the Ballon d'Or. In 2007, Kaká was unstoppable, gliding past defenders, scoring decisive goals, carrying AC Milan to a Champions League title through sheer individual brilliance. His goal against Manchester United in the 2007 semi-final remains definitive. A burst of acceleration, a perfect touch, a ruthless finish. That was Kaká at his peak, power, pace and precision combined. Then Real Madrid paid €65 million and injuries destroyed him. The explosiveness vanished. The burst was gone. His Galactico career was a disappointment. But that Milan peak? Transcendent. Roberto Baggio, the divine ponytail. Italy's most gifted 10 and 1993 Ballon d'Or winner. Dribbles that embarrassed defenders, chips that embarrassed goalkeepers, free kicks that bent physics. He moved from Fiorentina to Juventus in 1990 for a world record fee, sparking riots in Florence. At Juve, he scored 115 goals in 200 games and won the UEFA Cup with 2 goals in the final. The numbers tell the story of his longevity. 205 Serie A goals, the 7th highest in history. The only Italian to score in 3 World Cups, with 9 goals. A national record he shares with Rossi and Vieri. Pep Guardiola and Javier Zanetti both called him the best player they ever played with. That's the company he kept. The missed penalty in 1994 haunts his legacy. It shouldn't. Baggio dragged Italy to that final almost single-handedly. Decisive goals against Nigeria, Spain and Bulgaria when elimination loomed. One moment doesn't erase a career of brilliance. Michael Laudrup. Johan Cruyff called him the best player he ever coached. At Barcelona's dream team, Laudrup was the creative fulcrum, floating between positions, delivering impossible passes. His teammates had a simple instruction. Just run, he will always find a way of passing you the ball. The Spanish media coined the phrase "made in Laudrup" to describe his trademark assists. 4 consecutive La Liga titles with Barcelona, plus the 1992 European Cup. Then he did something extraordinary. Moved to Real Madrid and helped them win the title too. The only player in history to win 5 consecutive Spanish league titles with 2 different clubs. In 1999, he was voted the best foreign player in Spanish football over the preceding 25 years. Vision supernatural. Technique effortless. European football's best kept secret.
Level 7. The Transcendent. Diego Maradona. Every playmaker who came after him was measured against his shadow. Most disappeared in it. The 1986 World Cup was a one-man show. The goal of the century against England, dribbling past 5 defenders before finishing with precision. 5 minutes earlier, the hand of God, cheating and genius in the same match. That was Maradona. He was directly involved in 71% of Argentina's goals that tournament. 5 scored, 5 assisted. No player since has matched that single-handed dominance. At Napoli, he took a club that had never won Serie A and delivered 2 league titles, a UEFA Cup and saint status in southern Italy. His arrival changed the city. His departure left a void that still exists. Off-field chaos was legendary.
scandals and controversy at every turn. But on the pitch, untouchable. The ball glued to his feet. Defenders couldn't get close. When they did, he'd spin away. Level 7 is about impact. Maradona changed what football meant. Lionel Messi. The argument for Messi as the greatest number 10 is simple. He has the statistics, the trophies, and the longevity that Maradona lacked. Was he number 10 on paper? Maybe not, but his interpretation of the false 9 and later free role makes him fit the description. 8 Ballon d'Ors, a World Cup, 4 Champions League, nearly 900 career goals, plus over 400 assists, the most in football history. The only player to win FIFA World Player of the Year in 3 different decades. Numbers that shouldn't be possible. When Barcelona played him centrally, particularly in 2011-12 when he scored 73 goals in a single season, Messi as a 10 was the most dominant force football has ever seen. Guardiola unveiled the false 9 against Real Madrid in 2009, dropping Messi between the lines, pulling defenders into no man's land. It broke football's tactical consensus. Within 3 years, every top manager was copying it. He combined Maradona's dribbling with a goal-scoring record that dwarfed everyone before him. The only debate is whether he's a 10 or a forward. The answer is both. And honestly, it doesn't matter. When you're this good, positions become irrelevant. Zinedine Zidane. Elegance personified. Zidane didn't run, he glided. He didn't pass, he painted. Football as art, performed on the biggest stages. The 2002 Champions League final volley. France Football voted it the greatest goal in Champions League final history. His weaker foot, a looping cross, one touch. He later admitted, "I tried to score the same way even during advertisements, but it never happened again." The 2006 World Cup final performance. Before the headbutt ended everything. The roulettes, the control, the ability to produce genius when it mattered most. Zidane won everything. World Cup, European Championship, Champions League, Ballon d'Or, 3-time FIFA World Player of the Year. The only player in history to win both the World Cup and European Championship while being named best player of each tournament. His peak coincided with football's peak romanticism. Before analytics and pressing maps, when a number 10 could exist purely to create beauty. 3 players, 3 different eras, 1 position elevated to mythology. The truth about number 10s is uncomfortable. The position is dying. Modern football demands defensive contribution, pressing intensity, and tactical discipline. The luxury playmaker has no place in a sport obsessed with work rate. But maybe that's the point. The same freedom that makes a 10 magical is what makes them fragile. They need space, trust, a system built around their rhythm. Take that away and they fade. Özil without the ball at his feet. Riquelme asked to press. Götze in a system that didn't protect him. The very thing that elevates them is the thing that limits them. What do you think? Where would you rank your favorite number 10? And who did we miss? Let us know in the comments.